Is their season, in your mind, a failure?
I don't want to go as far as to say it's a failure because they did win 100 games, and the team that they lost to has been the best team in baseball throughout the season with 108 wins in the Boston Red Sox, although I consider the Houston Astros to be better because of that rotation. It's just that lethal. But the manner in which they ended this season leaves me very, very disturbed. First of all, you can't trust their rotation. Severino, we keep calling him an ace. You know what my definition of an ace is? Somebody who's reliable, not somebody who has great ability and that's it. Somebody who's reliable, who you can depend on night in, night out, particularly when it counts. That's not him. Tanaka shows up. He handles his business in game 2, okay? We know that J.A. Happ is suspect in the postseason. So we've got that going on. And that leads me to Brian Cashman and why you didn't feel the need to really buffer this rotation in the offseason. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2, Giancarlo Stanton, 4 of 18 against the Boston Red Sox, 4 singles. That's all you can muster. One of the games this season, in this series, you leave your bat on your shoulders in the 9th inning, and you struck out. Last night comes up. It's game 4. The season's on the line. 2 is on. You strike out chasing sliders at your feet, for crying out loud, with Kimbrel, who looked absolutely disastrous at some point because he was really struggling. Walked Aaron Judge in 4 at-bats. Hit Walker, for crying out loud. You see something like that, but he gets to you, and it's a smile on his face. You're the National League MVP from last year with Miami. You're smacking home runs all over the place. You come to New York City, Gotham City, the Mecca, the bright lights, and you're in the postseason for the first time, and you wet the bed like that. That's problematic in and of itself. And what it reminds me, and I'll go back to Cashman again, we love the hits. We love the home runs. 267 home runs is what it is. But the Houston Astros are showing you what it takes to win championships. How do you stand pat and think that the answer is hitting when everybody and their grandmother knows, come postseason time, what wins championships is pitching? You saw what Houston did. You had an opportunity to go out there. I know you called the Mets about the Grom or whatever, but did you really, really put forth the effort to get that dude? Did you really go all out to buffer your rotation? They didn't do it, and we saw the results of it last night.
If they had Jacob deGrom, I think it's safe to say this is an entirely different story. But, Tex, you've been inside this stuff. Do you think they believe their season is a failure?
I think they do, because in New York with the Yankees, you got to win a World Series or everybody is upset. The fans are upset. The front office is upset. The Steinbrenner family put this team together to win a championship. Brian Cashman put this team together to win a championship. And I'll kind of add on to what Stephen A. is saying, because I agree with everything he just said. Next year, this offseason is huge, because next year is not a guarantee for the Yankees. The Red Sox are still going to be good. They need 3 starting pitchers. They need to figure out who their starting first baseman is. Is it Luke Voigt or is it Greg Bird? They need to figure out if Miguel Andujar can play third base defensively in the big leagues. They don't know if they can trust Gary Sanchez behind the plate. There's a lot of question marks for this team going forward, and so this year was a great chance for them to win it all.
I want to add this, and obviously I'm in no position to disagree with Mark Teixeira. Let me be very, very clear, and I'm not, but I want to add something.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge. Something as small as him playing the boombox with New York after they won game 2. You know what I got to thinking? Would that have happened under Joe Girardi? See, Joe Girardi is not that kind of guy. Nothing gets taken for granted. This micromanager, this meticulous, hard-nosed kind of guy is the same guy that had them within a game of the World Series last year. I happen to believe Joe Girardi is a great manager, somebody who should have never been without his job, and Aaron Boone did a daggone good job this year. Coached them, managed them to 100 wins. We get all of that, but it was second place. This is the Boston Red Sox. If I want to attach the word failure, it would only be for this reason. Who was it to that you lost? It's to Boston, the same team that came back from a 3-0 deficit in 2004 and closed you out in 4th Street. The same team that won the American League East this year on your turf at Yankee Stadium and celebrated in your house, and then comes back after you've been chirping and outscores you 20-4 in 2 games at Yankee Stadium, taking your home run dude, limiting him to 4 singles and worse than 25% from the plate. You got 250 to be exact. You've got to be kidding me. That kind of stuff that's happening, I'm looking at Joe Girardi and I'm going like this. Man, no disrespect to Aaron Boone, you did a good job. But I miss Joe Girardi because that would not have happened.
Well, I would go further. I think Aaron Boone had an absolutely terrible series, and he had 2 terrible nights at Yankee Stadium, and maybe it cost them their season. But I'm with you. Do you have an issue with Judge doing what he did in the first place?
Absolutely. I said it on First Take that day because I'm like this. This is baseball, and what I was trying to explain to Max Kellerman when we were debating about it, I said, be clear. Mark, I said this to him too. It's baseball. Even though it's a team, it's individualized. You can't speak for everybody else. You might be Aaron Judge, you might smack a home run, and everyone else might wet the bed. You don't know what anyone else is going to do. And not only that, you can smack hits, but your pitching might not show up like Severino and them guys did. You cannot talk smack until the job is finished because you can only speak for you. Boston said nothing, and it scared the hell out of me. It scared me because they said, okay, we got nothing to say. And then last night after they won, what music were they playing in their dugout?
They were playing New York, New York, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I get it. You're on that side. Teixeira's on that side. Get me Foxworth in here. Get Dominique in here. Get him a chair and get him in here because we have Dominique took the. We're all on one side of this thing, and Dominique is on the other side. So Dominique,
why Dominique looking like he can still play some football? You know what I'm saying?
You got Steve Shape, man.
I can't.
Go ahead, Dominique. What do you think of that? Aaron Judge screwed the whole thing up by playing New York the other night in Boston.
It comes down to this. Does anyone here actually think that affected the outcome? If he hadn't played that song in Boston, Stephen A., do you think that the Yankees would have won?
Well, I don't have that answer. I don't think so, but I will ask you this question as a former player. What little nuggets of material motivated you guys? In other words, I tried to play.
Right.
Y'all played.
Okay.
on the elite level. So I'm simply asking the question,
Right.
Does that little nugget elevate your level of focus?
You don't need to have played to understand what the playoffs are, what playing against the Yankees and Yankee Stadium is. I refuse to believe that an ancient song by Frank Sinatra is going to get them any more motivated.